Hi there. Welcome to the practice questions on being able to plot the graph of an equation in the form y equals mx plus c. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video now, have a go at these questions. We've got question 1 and 2 on the first page, and there's another question on the second page here, question 3. And when you're happy with your answers, then restart the video and go through the model answers with me. So pause the video now and have a go at questions 1, 2 and 3 on the second page. Hi, welcome back. Let's now go through these model answers together. The first one here, we've got plot the graph of y equals 2x minus 3. Now I'm going to use a table of values to do this. I've set out my table of values here with x going from -1 to 3. And I'm going to use this to substitute the x values into the equation to generate my y values. I always start with the positive because positives are usually easier to deal with. So if we put 3 into our equation, we get 2 times 3 is 6, take away 3, 2 times 3 is 6, take away 3 gives us 3. Then we put 2 in, 2 times 2 is 4, take away 3, gives us 1 for our y coordinate. Then if I put my x coordinate in as 1, 2 times 1 is 2, take away 3, I get -1 for my y coordinate. If I put 0 in, 2 zeros are 0, take away 3, that gives me -3. And finally, put -1 in, 2 times -1 is -2, take away 3, that's going to give me -5. So now I can plot my coordinates. Well, I've got my set of axes here, I haven't numbered it, but I want to label it y-axis and the horizontal one the x-axis, and I'm going to plot my points. So when x is 3, go along to 3, y is going to be 3 as well, we'll go up to there. When x is 2, y is going to be 1, 2 along, 1 up. When x is 1, y is going to be -1. When x is 0, y is going to be 3. And when x is -1, y is going to be -5. I've now got my points. I can now complete my graph by joining those up. I've carried it on up the top there. And now I've got my graph of y equals 2x minus 3. Okay. Second one now, I've got the equation y equals -3x plus 2. So here I'm going to put my x values in place of x. So -3 times 3, well, -3 times 3 gives me -9. -9 add 2 gives me -7. And then when I put 2 in place of it, -3 times 2 is -6. -6 add 2 gives me -4. Put 1 in place of it. -3 times 1 is -3. -3 add 2 gives me -1. And then when x is 0, -3 times 0 is still 0. 0 add 2 gives me 2. And when x is -1, a negative times a negative gives a positive. So that gives me -3 times -1 gives me +3, add 2 gives me 5. So I've got my values. Again, I'm now going to plot these. So the first one, when x is 3, y is actually -7. So I'm going 2, 4, 6, let's write down here. When x is 2, y is -4. When x is 1, y is -1. When x is 0, y is 2, and finally when x is -1, y now is 5. Again, I've got my points now, I can join those up. Like that, and now I can label this as my graph of y equals -3x plus 2. Okay, for this third question, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this slightly differently. I'm going to rearrange this equation first. So I've got it in the form of y equals mx plus c. And then I'm going to use what I know about that equation to plot the graph without the table of values. So I'm going to start off here. I'm going to rearrange this equation to get it in terms of y equals mx plus c. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 10x over to the other side. So that gives me 5y is going to equal negative 10x, take away 15. Now what I'm going to do is move the 5 over to the other side. Because I'm multiplying by the 5 there, I'm going to divide on the other side. So I get y equals minus 10x minus 15 divided by 5. And if I divide through by 5, my equation is going to become y equals negative 2x take away 3. I can now use what I know about this equation to plot my graph. I know that this value here, the minus 2, is represented by n. n represents the gradient of the graph. I also know that this value here, the negative 3, is represented by c. So c tells me the y-intercept of the graph, where the graph cuts the y-axis. So my graph cuts the y-axis at negative 3, so I could put that point in, cutting the y-axis at negative 3. I also know that the gradient is negative 2. With a negative gradient, the graph is going to slope downwards from left to right. So what I could do is I could go along 1 and down 2, because it's got a gradient of negative 2. Do it again, along 1, down 2. Now working backwards, it's clear that it's going to go the opposite way. So every one I go back, I'm going to go up 2. Go back 1, up 2, back 1, up 2, and now I can see my line's going to be a line sloping downward from left to right. So I can just join up my points, and that gives me the equation y equals minus 2x take away 3.